Are you a new company looking to launch your offering? Or maybe you're at an existing company, but you have something new that you want to take to market. Well, either way, this is not a moment to just wing your go-to-market strategy. You want to have a thorough understanding of exactly how you're going to make sure that what you have to sell flies off the shelves, so to speak. And a great go-to-market strategy can be the difference between your offering floundering or massive success. And it's not just about having something great to sell. The strategy has to be rock solid. So in this video, I'm going to show you the ideal go-to-market sales strategy. 5 must-know steps to a big, huge launch. Check it out. Number 1, clarify what your offering does for clients. The biggest mistake in sales that I see time and time again is companies getting really excited about the product or the service that they have to sell. And so when it comes time to introducing that product or service to new prospects, what do? They talk all about the product or service. And they're focused on all of the benefits, all of the awesome features that they have. And what the prospect is thinking to themselves is, I don't care. I don't care what your offering does. What I care is that it's solving my challenges. It's improving my life. And so what we need to do is take a step back from the actual offering and start to map out exactly what that offering does for clients. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a marketing company, and so you have a marketing service, an agency. And so it's really tempting to talk about all of the cool tools that you use and all of the benefits that you have. But what does the prospect really care about? They care about generating new business. And so how does what you do help them generate new business or solve the challenges that they have right now, which is that they don't have enough leads coming in the door, or their salespeople aren't meeting with enough new prospects? Same thing if we look at the operations space. Let's say you have a product that will improve operational efficiency. They don't care about exactly what it's doing out on the assembly line. They don't care at all. All they care about is what is it going to do to solve the problems that they have on the assembly line. I hope you're starting to see the picture here. Let's just imagine even in a consumer example. Let's say you book events, let's say weddings, right? It's so easy to get caught up in how beautiful the space is and this and that. But at the end of the day, they want to make sure that the event is going to be awesome. It's going to be special. So understand what your offering does for clients. Once you have that, now you can communicate in a way that the prospect really thinks. Number 2, map out your outreach strategy. This is a place where I find so many organizations are really haphazard about what that outreach strategy is going to be. It's basically, hey, we have a list of people, maybe we do, maybe we don't, and what we're going to do is we're going to call them, we're going to email them, we're going to send out some stuff, but we don't really have a clear understanding of exactly what we're doing at each step. And so what we want to do in this go-to-market strategy is really map out what does the entire process look like? What does that entire outreach strategy look like? When are we making calls? When are we leaving voicemails? When are we sending emails? What do those emails look like? What do they say? When are we sending a package? What are we doing for advertising? And how does this all fit together? And so what I challenge you to really think about is, what does this whole process look like? And then start to fill in the gaps of exactly how we want to have each script looking and all of that. But when we map out that entire outreach strategy, it challenges us to really think about, okay, where do we have holes here? What do we need to be doing? What could we be doing better? How could we utilize maybe some other tools like LinkedIn or any other type of a tool that's maybe more marketing focused? It doesn't matter, but how do we fill in all of those gaps and make sure that we have the content that we need, everything that we need? And once we have that laid out, now we have a much more clear and concise strategy for going to market. Number 3, get very clear on who does what. It's so easy to say, okay, sales team, this is all you. You just have to start contacting people and just go for it. But again, I think what we've already done is clarified that we need a more clear plan. And oftentimes, that plan requires a lot of different hands on deck to make sure that the whole process comes together. And to look at all of the people on your sales team as just the same folks who have to make the same types of calls is really not looking at it strategically. Of course, you have the marketing folks who are going to be obviously much more focused on the marketing piece. But how do the different salespeople fit within different areas? Maybe you're going to have some folks who are just focused solely on outbound emailing to cold prospects. And so their whole job is going to be focused on sending out emails. Maybe you'll have other people who are going to be really focused on just making those calls, following up on those calls. Other people might be focused on dealing with the warm leads. Other folks might be dealing with the inbound leads. Get very clear on who is doing what within this process. And then, of course, how is marketing, the marketing department, serving you and the sales team to make sure that these leads are really hot and are qualified. Number 4, execute with consistency. There is a tendency, particularly with go-to-market strategies, to try to get everything done in a couple of days. And quite frankly, that's just silliness. Because all it's going to do is either lead to burnout or to just a really sloppy go-to-market strategy. What we want to do is really lay out what are the metrics, what are the expectations over the next couple of months, and how can we have those key activities done on a consistent basis. And so let's say you're sending out emails and you're making calls and this all fits within your go-to-market strategy. How do you map that out and then execute just a little chunk each day? And so at the end of the day, you have a consistent and repeatable process that even after that initial go-to-market strategy continues on. So think about how can small chunks of work be done on a daily basis to make sure that this is executed not just over the course of one big week, but instead over the course of many months and ultimately into years. And so it's really thinking about how can we have consistent bite-sized chunks that all come together. Number 5, assess how it's going and tweak. This is really underappreciated. I think sometimes we get into a flow and we start doing something and it's kind of working, and so we just stick with it and we never look back. But the most effective go-to-market strategies are dynamic. There is a component of we're testing a lot of different things. I don't want to call it the old pot of spaghetti that you're throwing at the wall and seeing what sticks, but to some degree we never know, particularly in a go-to-market strategy, because by definition it's new. We don't know exactly what's going to work. So my challenge to you is to think about how can we start to have a process for consistently identifying what's working and do more of that. And whatever is not working, we stop doing. And so it's a process of constantly tweaking. If you're sending out a lot of emails, how can you be testing different subject lines? How can you be testing different calls to actions? With your calls, how can you be testing different value propositions? Different ways of setting meetings, all of these pieces that are going to come together that you want to be constantly challenging the assumptions that you have about what is and what isn't working. And so this ultimately, you can see that this is a process that continues to repeat over and over again as we assess what's working and then continue tweaking. So there is the ideal go-to-market sales strategy. The 5 must-know steps to a huge launch. I want to hear from you. Which of these ideas did you find most useful? Be sure to share below in the comments section to get involved in the conversation. And if you enjoyed this video, then I have an awesome free ebook on 25 tips to crush your sales goals. Just click right here to get it instantly, somewhere around here. Seriously, just click right here. Also, if you got some value, please like this video below on YouTube. It really helps me out. And be sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking to my face right about here to get access to a new video just like this one each week.